Hey, what's up, guys? So, in this video, I'm going to give you some examples of things that I believe people have been brainwashed into believing true. All right, so a lot of these things you may think I'm ridiculous for opposing. A lot of these things you may think are obviously true, but I'll ask you to keep in mind that the type of brainwashing and programming that people have been exposed to goes back since birth for nearly everyone alive now and are very sophisticated in their ways. It's constant bombardment of certain information, and eventually you are very susceptible to believing things very firmly that ordinarily you wouldn't. Okay, things that you may not even be able to prove, things that you may not even be able to intelligently debate and support. So keep an open mind, and I'll go ahead and give you guys some of the things that I think are foolishness and clearly lies that most people believe. All right, so I'll start at the very beginning. The inception of our story of humanity, what is told to us, that basically modern man, our civilization, civilized man, goes back 6,000 years approximately. That by itself is ridiculous. Okay, guys? So what's actually the truth is that human beings, as we know, mankind, have existed, and other species as well, have existed for so much longer than that. No one could say with certainty. I would guess millions of years. And there is a cycle that occurs on the earth. It's been said by some who have researched it extensively that it's approximately every 6,000 years, actually, that there is what's called a cataclysm event, where the earth may shift, something occurs underneath, some seismic activity underneath the ocean floor, and as a result, there are massive waves that are 2 to 3 miles high, that are moving at up to 1,000 miles per hour, picking up debris, rock, stone, buildings, anything, humans, everyone in the way, and just creating a wall of stone and just crushing and absorbing, devouring everything with it. Ultimately, it settles after 6 days, and that's the reason why we have no proof or evidence of more ancient civilizations, is because it's all buried very deep, whether it be on the ocean floor or just under, hundreds of feet of sediment that was dropped. There is evidence to support this archaeologically as well, with certain digs that you can see the sediment being deposited, and you can look further into that if you want. But going from there, they've also convinced people that human beings evolved. They've created this word, evolve, evolution, the theory, and convinced people to believe that we came from monkeys. We came from some kind of other primate. I feel like this is one of the ones that it's tough to me to even have to discuss, because that's so clearly foolish and untrue. Animals don't evolve like that, and I don't want to get too far into any of these specific ones, but it's not true. Monkeys are monkeys, humans are humans, and we didn't evolve from any other animal other than ourselves. All right? And going along again with that mindset is they've convinced us that we're very dumb, that we're a very weak and dumb creature, man. And the truth is the opposite. The truth is we're very powerful. The ability of our brains, our intellectual ability, is actually amazing if it were actually applied to its full potential. Anywhere near full potential would be way more than what we're currently utilizing. So we are very strong, not just strong in the sense of being able to understand the word intellect, as you may know it, but beyond that, spiritually even, where we can heal and we can connect. And there's so much things that we're able to do if we are aware of it and if we practice in certain ways that are not taught to us. Right? So they've also taught us that medicine is good for us. medicine that comes in the form of pills, injections, things that the doctors give us, where the obvious truth is we had it right in the past. There are wise people who study all kinds of plants and animals, and from that obtain all the natural medicine that they need beyond our natural immunity, which is a key. They've convinced us that there are viruses out there that our natural immunity can't fight off. It's not true. They've also convinced us that there's something called vaccines that will save you somehow. That's also not true. I don't want to get into that sensitive topic. Bitch-ass sensitivity is another thing. They've convinced us that, it's not a good thing to have differences of opinion or dialogue even, and that people need to be protected from misinformation or from hurtful words. This is all fucking nonsense. To anyone who has any kind of anything that they can think at all would see how foolish this is. This is a control mechanism. It's all bullshit. All right? They've convinced us and made us believe that there is a scarcity of food out there and money and resources, and that we need to be fighting over it, and that we're in constant competition over it. They've convinced us that this thing called money, this fucking green paper, somehow has this amazing power, and it's so powerful that most people would choose that over their own character, their own dignity, their own morality. They choose that paper all day long. So they've really brainwashed us bad with that one. So there are so many things, guys. A lot of this is sensitive because these people out there in control, the guys in the media, they're creating this sensitivity to it. They're creating the whole dialogue, the whole narrative. Whatever they want things to be, this cancel culture thing, that's what they currently want, they'll push that. Whatever the next thing is, they'll push that. This virus thing, they'll push that. War, they'll push that. It's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. It's all made up. They've convinced you guys out there, not necessarily you watching this, but the public in general, that the news is real. And that what they're telling you is real. It's all fucking bullshit stories they made up. They've convinced us that it's a good idea to inject our newborn children, the miraculous children that are born into the world, to inject them with a bunch of fucking known toxins on the same day of their birth, within hours, where their immune system hasn't even properly developed to respond to those things, should they work as they're described, which they don't. That is fucking crazy. The idea that I'm going to take a needle and stick it in my child because this asshole here tells me to is fucking nuts. Crazy. Blows my mind. They've convinced us that basically there are now more than two genders beyond regular abnormalities that are acknowledged by science. Now there's tons of them. All kinds of things. They've convinced us that it's okay for a man to lay with another man and a woman with another woman. To be gay is okay now. Not only is it okay, but it's like promoted. It's better than being regular, I guess. They convinced us that, a man can at any time decide that he's a woman. And it's okay for him to dress like a woman and act like a woman and have surgeries to change his body. It's likewise for a woman to a man to do this conversion therapy. Who the fuck would ever think stuff like this is okay? It's craziness. And there are so many things out there. Thinking of children now, with my kids when they were in school, everything they're teaching them about history is all fucking lies and bullshit. They've convinced the people out there in America, at least, that this country was, discovered by Christopher Columbus. That by itself's a lie, but then also that there are these Indians here and they're the natives, there were no people before that. That's all fucking nonsense. It's known that there are evidence to support and to prove that there was a race of Aryan way before any Native American Indians in America. There also is proof that there were black people in America before these Native Americans were. And again, going back to what I said earlier, that supports their original lie about the timeline of when things happened. That these countries and these areas were basically uninhabited for so long. Every place in the world has been inhabited for thousands of years, and since those cataclysmic events occurred, because there was a shift in what was land versus water. when those things happen. But wherever there was land, it's habitable. People have lived. All right, so that's another nonsensical thing that they've convinced us. They've convinced people that to entertain themselves with the horrible fucking things out there, man. Pornography. They've convinced people that pornography is okay. That that's a normal thing and a healthy thing for people to look at. All right? They've convinced people that it's okay for young girls, women in general, to be sluts, to be fucking whores, and be disgusting with themselves. That's okay. And they've convinced the men, the males, not the men, that it's okay to not have any fucking dignity, not have any character, not be about anything, not have any class, not have any respect for women, not know how to act, not be able to do anything, just fucking sit there and be soft and bitch and moan. Sensitive ass. They've convinced people that that's okay also. There's so many things when you really think about it. This is the first time I've actually put any thought into this, but it goes on and on of the things that we've been convinced that are not true, that are fake. You know, another one that you guys probably are going to think I'm crazy for, but in my opinion, it's the opposite. It's everyone else who's arguing the opposite position here that's crazy. They've convinced people that the fucking Earth is spinning at ridiculous miles per hour and orbiting also at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour in speed, rotating on axes and doing all kinds of movements, and none of that's true. It doesn't move. We're not fucking moving. We're planted. It's called a firmament. We're planted here. That's it. We're not moving. All right? I'd love for anyone to fucking prove to me that we're spinning around and rotating as fast as they say we are. Come on. Look at any large body of water and tell me, how the fuck are we spinning and moving around, all that shit happening, when the body of water is fucking still and can look like a sheet of glass at times? Come on, man. Nonsense. It's all nonsense. So I want you guys to realize that there are so many things that we've been fucking fooled into believing. Things that we should know better than to believe. I just want to touch back on the entertainment thing also, because when you think about what people find acceptable, you know, I'll refer to children's shows in particular. So like this fucking whole network called Netflix is evil as fuck. I've only recently started looking at it. The kids want to watch some things on there. I noticed that every single show has some gay fucking theme to it. Every one. Gay, transgender, something along those lines. So they've convinced you people out there that it's okay and it's healthy for children's programs, little kids shows, fucking cartoons, to have gay people in it and transgender motherfuckers in it. They've convinced you guys that that's okay for little kids. They've convinced people now in particular that it's okay to put a fucking mask on a little child and also to put this poison needle in their arms. That's even worse. But the mask thing is so symbolic. You're taking these fucking kids' identities. You're putting these kids in fear. You're not allowing them to express themselves and view the expressions of others. Not to interact, not to be nothing. That's a fucking child abuse. If I've ever seen one, it's that. Putting masks on kids. Making them stand 6 feet apart from each other. Making them eat their lunches by themselves like they're fucking lepers. It's insane what we've been convinced of. And, you know, we got to think about these things. We got to start changing. They've convinced us that the best thing for us to do in going about our daily lives is to use these fucking gadgets and to be on these fucking devices all day long and to get everything from there, everything we need from there. When the opposite is true. The best thing for us is to be away from fucking technology and be outside, be in the open, be in nature, breathe in air. Take your fucking mask off. Breathe, motherfucker. This is obvious things to me that we've been convinced of. So evil is the bottom line to all of this, because at the end of the day, they've convinced people that it's okay and it's normal, acceptable to be a selfish piece of shit, to be only about yourself in life. I'm talking about American culture here. I don't know the rest of the world, but American culture, they've convinced people that being selfish, being a selfish motherfucker is okay. Just like being a little slut is okay, being a piece of shit, irresponsible, can't even fucking earn money, motherfucker, is okay also. Disrespectful, that's okay. None of that stuff's okay. It's not. We need to think about what the fuck we're being convinced of and being led to believe, because we're being led astray. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, all this is evil shit. They've convinced us, the greatest evil of all, is they've convinced us to stray from God, to look down on it. If you notice on those same fucking shows, those programs that they make, programming your mind, where they're putting all this gay shit in there, and all this suggestive stuff in there, going back decades, slowly, but now we're on full blast, full speed ahead, hit them with everything. They're programming you, right? That all this bad stuff's okay, that what was once bad is now okay and now good. And at the same time, those same programs make fun of God. That's the only time they speak of God, is to make a fucking joke, poke fun, look down on. They've convinced you that to be a religious person is something to look down on, something to laugh at. That's the biggest fucking horrible, horrible thing on this whole list that I've just given you. It's just terrible, because we need to be in touch with God, and from there, from that starting point, is where we can acquire all the other knowledge and wisdom that we need in life as we go. Time is an answer also. We need time to develop and to learn these things, but you can. So I'd encourage you guys, I can go on and on. I'm going to cut this video now, but I'll encourage you guys to give some thought to this. And instead of just going with the flow and doing what everyone else is doing, think about what the fuck you're doing. Think about what the fuck you're saying. Think about how you're acting. And then think about why you're doing it. Think about if this is right or wrong. Is this really good or bad? And don't choose wrong. Don't choose bad. Don't choose selfishness. Don't choose immorality. Don't choose to be that fucking slut. Don't choose to be that fucking disrespectful bum. Choose to be great. Choose to live up to your potential. Choose to learn on your own. Don't take in what they're telling you, their programming, all their bullshit about how weak you are and how we need the government to help us and babysit us and fucking spoon feed us everything. No, we don't need that shit. We can handle it on our own. We're perfectly capable, right? So I hope you guys get something good out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.